Hey everyone, welcome back. This video is to help you plan your answer for the AQA English Language Paper 1 question 5. There'll be a step-by-step guide on what you should include in your plan and also what you should include in your actual question 5 in order to get the best marks. So let's go through it. So what the question is. Question 5 is the whole of section B of the paper. It is worth 40 marks, which is 50% of the paper, 25% of your total English language mark. You choose to either describe the picture or write a story. You don't do both, you pick one. And it will assess your AO5, which is to communicate clearly, effectively and imaginatively, and organize information in a coherent way. That one is worth 24 marks, as well as your AO6. So use a range of vocabulary and sentence structure with accurate spelling and punctuation. That's worth 16 marks. Why do I have to plan? The question everybody asks me. Well, the main reason is to get all your ideas down. You might not use them, but at least you won't be stuck or start waffling. All your ideas for the question will come in the first 5 minutes that you're thinking about it. If you jot them down, then later on you will not be stuck and you will not be confused about what is actually happening in your story. Remember, you are being marked for it being coherent. It has to make sense. It will remind you to use varied punctuation and language features. It's also in the instructions. It's good to follow the instructions. So follow the plan. I have a step-by-step plan that you can use and adjust each time to help you. Step 1. Punctuation. List all the punctuation you want to use and cross them out as you go along. So things like full stop, comma, question mark, exclamation mark, colon, semicolon, brackets, apostrophe and speech marks. You don't have to use all of them, but if you think about it, most of these punctuations are used almost all the time by you. However, I've noticed when people are writing stories or descriptions, they tend to forget that they can use a nice list of punctuation. They tend to stick to only full stop and comma. You do need to show the examiner that you know how to use them correctly. So list them, cross them out as you're going along. Step 2, language features. You don't have to use a lot of language features for a good piece of writing, but they do help. So list them as you did the punctuation. So simile, personification, alliteration, rhetorical questions, list of 3 and good old hyperbole. If you list them, again, it doesn't mean you have to use them, but at least they're there and they will be a reminder. So when you look back at your plan, when you're halfway through your story or description, then you'll know I need to use this and maybe you can put it in there. Step 3, the narrative. So you need to choose which narrative you will have for your story or description. First person is good because you can imagine what the character is feeling. You're putting yourself into the story. Third person is great as it not only allows you to use a name, but other pronouns, so it gives you a bit more variety. I personally would say avoid using second person as it can get difficult and confusing. So you need to choose what your narrative is going to be and stick to it. Whatever you pick at the beginning, you have to keep it consistent throughout. Changing your narrative halfway through the story will make you lose grammar marks. Step 4, tense. So obviously there are 3 tenses, past, present and future. In the basic sense, they are categorized a bit differently sometimes. You need to choose one. So be careful to not mix tenses because you will lose mark for grammar. If you do mix past, present or present and future or future and past, they are going to know that you're not being coherent, which again is the AO5, and they won't give you the marks that you probably deserve. My personal preference, I tell people to stick to past tense because it is easier, but that is subjective. You may prefer present. You may also prefer future. It doesn't matter. And again, you just need to stick to one tense. If you write down the tense that you want to use in your plan, then you will know when you're checking through it in the last 5 to 10 minutes to check through that you are in the correct tense. Step 5, create your character. So you will need at least one character in your story. Either it will be a first person character where you are describing everything in a narrative form, or it will be a character in the story. It is easier to have two, then you can have dialogue and dynamic, but again, that is not a necessity. You will just need the one. Little details are necessary. So how they look, how they act, maybe they have an accent, anything. Describe your character how you would describe people you see in real life anyway. Imagine you're describing someone to a friend who's sitting across the room from you. How would you normally describe that person? You describe their hair, you describe their clothes, you describe what they're doing. Put that into your story as well. You do it every day, so why is it not in your writing? So this is a basic little table that I tend to give to my students. It's a quick way for you to remember what you want to put on it. So knowing your character's gender, age, height and body shape, hair color, skin color, eye color, and the clothes they're wearing will make it easier when you're in the story and you're actually describing your character. Here it is filled in. So for character 1, I've had a female, 15 years old, 5'7" and slim, with black hair, olive toned skin, hazel eyes with bits of green, and the clothes she's wearing is a red leather jacket, white t-shirt, light blue jeans and white Nike trainers. The second character, character 2, which is optional, is also female. She's 16, 5'5" and curvy. Her hair colour is brownish red, her skin colour is deep brown, her eye colour is dark brown, and her clothes are a black bomber jacket, black jumper, dark blue jeans and black Adidas trainers. Now with that description, you can imagine the characters. That is the sort of thing you need to be doing in your writing. You need to bring your characters to life that the reader, the examiner, will be able to imagine what your characters look like. When you're reading a book, you can also imagine the characters because they are described like that. You need to do the same thing. And it's not as hard as it seems. Step 6, follow the 5 W's. You probably remember the 5 W's from primary school. You were taught them for a reason. They are actually quite useful. So the 5 W's is something that is easy to use and can essentially be your plan. So if you're worried about not having time to plan, they are at the least the only thing you should do. So at least have the 5 W's and maybe a list of punctuation. So the 5 W's, in case you don't remember them, is who, so have the character or characters, what they are doing based on the question, where, the place it is happening, so the country, the city, the town, why, the reason they are there, and when, so day, time, season. Picking all of that will help determine how descriptive you are. If it's a sunset, you can describe the sun going down. If it's at night time, maybe the moon and the stars. If it's winter, you can describe the snow. If it's the summer, you can describe the sunshine and the kids playing. Whatever you want. So the 5 W's should be the bare minimum of your plan. But I would prefer it if you did a bit more in order to help you later on in your writing. Again, the plan is there to help, not hinder. Step 7, how to order your paragraphs. Again, this is just a suggestion, you don't have to follow it. So it's hard to know how to order your paragraphs, especially since you don't know what they will ask you to write. Sometimes I'll ask for the opening, middle or closing part of a story. So if you follow the suggestions, it should make it easier. So for paragraph 1, you set the scene. You describe where the story is happening. Paragraph 2, you introduce the main character and describe them. Remember, you should have planned out what they look like, so that should be easy for you to just put into sentences. Paragraph 3, you introduce a dilemma based on the question, but no solution, that's for later. So say the question is, you're describing a warm summer's evening. Just describe something happening on that summer's evening. Perhaps someone gets lost or there is an accident, but you don't do the solution. Paragraph 4, add the second character and or something exciting. So a fight, an accident, a fright, something. And in paragraph 5, based on the question, you either have a resolution if it's the ending to the story or a cliffhanger for the opening. This is the bit where you need to decide how you're going to end it, but it needs to be based on the question. Alright, so this may seem like a lot for a plan, but the idea is that you practice with it repeatedly until it becomes quick and second nature. You can take out the bits that you like and leave out the bits that you don't need. But at the very least, there should be some steps that you need to do, such as the character building, punctuation, and language features. Each question will be different, and you may not want to do the full plan, but do at least some. Try it. Pick a question, find an AQA Language Paper 1 question 5, try the plan, try the writing, and then adjust the plan for your needs, because not everyone will follow each step and every step, but you do need something and you need to plan. So was this video useful? Follow me on my social media accounts and you can ask me certain questions, and as well I tend to give tips and advice. Share, like and subscribe for more, and leave a comment if you have any questions. I will answer any questions you have. And I'll see you next time.